Why is packaging important? You decide. Consumer behavior in these examples, or is it the packaging design? In the fiercely competitive retail landscape, packaging isn't just a wrapper. It's the unsung hero that can make or break your brand. Packaging isn't and shouldn't be an afterthought. It's the brand's handshake to the consumer. Now picture this. You're standing in a bustling supermarket aisle, surrounded by a sea of products. What catches your eye? The packaging. It's the silent storyteller that whispers of quality, convenience, and delight. But here's the twist. Consumers form snap judgments based upon packaging alone. In fact, 70% of them size up brand purely by its packaging, and 63% consider packaging almost as crucial as the brand itself. Now let's bring it all together here with this video that's celebrating the art and the science of proper packaging. First up, the protein powder trap. Now, you can tell me all you want, your protein powder company, even retailers, would you rather spend 35 cents on a pouch or $3.50 when it comes to a rigid container? Now, these rigid containers that we've all seen as we trip over them in the protein powder space, but it's silly. It's absolutely nonsense that we still use rigid plastic buckets, pails, jars, and jugs when it comes to protein powder. This is nonsense. These are big, they're bulky, they take up a ton of space. They cost about 85% more, 90% more than what a pouch would be. And if you see the picture where I'm showing the flat bottom, side gusset pouch next to the rigid bucket and pail, whatever I'm calling it, of the protein powder, this is holding that same 2 pounds of product in a flat bottom pouch that costs about 25 cents. Now, folks, you can be for or against plastic and all the other, this is nonsense. The point is that sustainable examples that we're talking about, being sustainable, earth-friendly, earth-conscious, we are now looking at a rigid container versus a flat pouch that uses less material drastically and truly helps our environment. Now let's continue on. Now for all you paper fans, here's a picture of our Snickers bar. Now, Mr. Consumer or retailer, you think this is a good idea? A good use of our natural resources, a shining example, I'm being sarcastic, of using more paper packaging because it's better for the environment? Let's not be silly. That's stupid. This whole thing that we're seeing right here is absolutely stupid. Now, next on, should we try to be consumer focused here, or let's create packaging that is nearly impossible for the end user to open? How many times have we all seen, I don't care whether it's scissors or CDs or any sort of product that has a little value to it, that we're going to make the packaging so gorilla proof that it's nearly impossible for the consumer to open. The point I'm getting at is this tells me that the company that's making these scissors or the product itself really is more concerned about making this gorilla proof than the consumer being happy with it. I myself deliberately try to avoid packaging like this for the simple fact that yes, you can see the product, but B, I can't open it. I need tools. I need something else to open it. And this is absolutely nonsense when it comes to trying to help the consumer or trying to grow your sales. Think about the packaging here. If you can find another way to do this, not only will you save time, money, and exasperation from your client, but it'll also help you grow your business. Now, I know we just got out of the holidays, and I 100% know we've all saw examples of this more than we want to really recall. How many times did we open packages from grandma, the mail, or Amazon? And here we are once again with this ridiculous amount of corrugated boxes, paper filler. Now, wait a minute. Think about this for a second. Do you actually believe this is okay for the environment? Now think about this. Paper is not necessarily biodegradable or better for the environment. Why? Because it has to be exposed to air and sunlight. When it's not, which when it happens and sent to a landfill, None of this stuff gets broken down and recycled. It's buried. It's buried as trash. What I'm getting at is using more paper, which takes 20% more natural resources such as water to create versus plastic or some other type of material. Guys and gals, we've got to be realistic. These are crazy examples that are actually embarrassing that we feel as consumers and as people in the packaging space that this is okay. It's not. Now take a look at this. Use more paper, folks. This is absolutely insulting. Just stop this. This is stupid. We want to actually say that this is actually better for the environment. Packing and using this much packaging for these little few products? Come on. But take a look at this. Is paper helping or hurting? We trying to get more customers or thoroughly tick them off when they get home and see that the method product is really half what they expected. Seriously? When you get home and you open this thing up and you realize that that was a trick that they played for you to think that you're getting a value and you're getting half of what you thought, please stop this. Now, before you think this is all gloom and doom, I want to get you some good examples of where packaging is well thought out and the consumer is kept in mind, okay? Now, first and foremost in the paint space, eliminating aluminum cans for flexible packaging is a no-brainer. Many have never seen this before. It's cost-effective, earth-friendly, recyclable, sustainable. What's not to like here? Using a flexible pouch that is recyclable will cost 10%, maybe less of what an aluminum can is going to cost. Now think about this for a second. If you're not aware, it takes a tremendous amount of our natural resources to make aluminum, steel, tin, or anything like this. People will say, oh, but it's 100% recyclable, or they'll say something like, it's forever recyclable. Well, you know what? It isn't in the fact that it costs so much money to make, then to collect, then to grind it back up and melt it. And that when you think about this big picture wise, this is why choosing aluminum for paint is silly. It's crazy. We're lazy and we're not looking at the consumer for something that they could use, consume, store without having to trip over this for the next 20 years. Fair? Now here's another one. Did you ever think you would see a rigid container that has what I'm showing here is this rigid container is replaced now with a flexible pouch? Look at the flexible pouch that I'm talking about. Here in this case, this is going head to head with the liquid containers that are out there for chemicals, detergent, soap. But think of the possibilities for other things such as dry food, protein powder like the example I showed before, anything that has to do with needing measurement. You know, a lot of times the protein powder people have always said, oh, we have to use these rigid buckets because we have a scoop that we need to let our consumers know how much our product to put in an 8-ounce glass of milk. Are you thinking that the consumers aren't smart enough to kind of figure out that a scoop of such and such or a tablespoon or whatever that measurement, they can't do that themselves? So you need a measuring cup? Fine. Here's a spouted pouch, flexible, that actually is using a rigid cup or a measuring cup incorporated with a pour spout. Landfill friendly, recyclable, and sustainable. And finally, an example here, folks, are glass bottles for beer, carbonated products, anything having to do with carbonation, like pop, like soda. Now with fermented products or vegetables like pickles and vegetables and kimchi and cabbage, it has an outgas. And finally, there are films now that allow that gas to escape without bursting the pouch, whether for beer or pop or anything like that that has an outgas. So the point I'm getting at is we've come a long way. There's a lot more available when it comes to packaging styles and packaging materials that actually can help grow your business, help grow your sales, help actually work with the consumer so they're happy, not hate you at the end. So again, the rule of thumb here is you have about 3 seconds to grab a consumer's attention, and your packaging is the voice of your brand. Now I ask you, what's your packaging saying about your brand? We've seen pictures here that show lousy designs, poor quality, frankly, messages that are conveying from some major companies. I saw Method Soap and some others. They're basically saying they don't care about their consumer or our environment. They're basically doing what fits them, and they're saying, screw you, here you go. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Now, I've also shown you examples of some of the most innovative packaging materials that scream to the consumer, they want your business. They respect your convenience, they respect your time, they respect your budget and Mother Earth. Now, why is packaging important? Consumers respect it. Retailers want it, and our environment needs it. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you want to see more, here's another video that you can check out, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.